Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is headed back to the hot seat today after facing scathing criticism from GOP lawmakers for his failure to control the border crisis, including this tense exchange.
You're an ideologue that thinks letting anybody in under any circumstance is okay. And this country will pay a price as has never before.
Congressman, you have so grotesquely mischaracterized my position on issues.
Your actions prove different, Mr. Secretary.
Joining me now, Texas Congressman Pat Fallon, member of the House Armed Services Committee. Good morning to you, Congressman. You know, Mayorkas said yesterday that the Biden administration has effectively managed the border crisis. So do you feel better?
Let's break down effectively managed for a second. So for the first time in our history, we have 13 months in a row of at least 150,000 illegal border crossings. First time in our history, we've had 2 million illegal border crossings in a calendar year. We have a record number of migrants crossing the border, a record number of illegal narcotics, and a record number of American deaths, 100,000 last year, due to the opioids that the Mexican drug cartels are polluting our nation with. That's his definition of effectively managed. That is disgusting, and that is grotesque, to use his adjective when he had the exchange with my colleague.
Well,
it is. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you know, I was going to say there are about 50 of your Democratic colleagues who agree with the message that you're sending, including Congresswoman Elise Slotkin from Michigan. Here's what she had to say. Watch this.
Our immigration system is broken. Democrats and Republicans own that. Right now, Democrats have the House, the Senate, and the White House and have done nothing to get at comprehensive immigration reform.
And you know, Congressman, I was thinking back to January 2021, and one of the first things President Biden did in office was to get rid of Remain in Mexico, and he tried to freeze deportations for the first 100 days. So that really sent a signal around the world, come on over, our borders are open.
Right, and there's been a recent conversion, as you just mentioned, with our Democratic colleagues, at least 50 of them. But you have to question whether this is politics or policy, because there's a midterm election that by all accounts they're going to do very poorly in 6 months from now. So they can sign discharge petitions in the House where we can immediately get a bill to the floor. I don't believe any have yet. Maybe Henry Cuellar from Texas, but the rest of them, it's all words. And you have to worry, not just myself, but hold all of us to account. There's 535 members of Congress in the House and the Senate. Don't believe a word we say. Look at what we do and how we vote. And that's what I would ask the American people to do.
Well, speaking of votes, are you going to vote on this issue to, you know, make Title 42 permanent, or maybe something with Dreamers versus border security? What's the congressional conversation like right now?
Well, that's a great point. Mayorkas also blamed in his testimony yesterday, he blamed Congress. Well, who runs Congress right now? The Democratic Party controls both chambers. If they bring that to the floor, every Republican's going to vote for it. And apparently, maybe at least 50 Democrats. They only have a 9-seat majority in the House, and it's evenly split 50-50. They only need one Democrat to vote with us. But they just talk, at least 50 of them, and they don't do. We've had right now, the Border Patrol will tell us that if there's 3,500 illegal border crossings in a day, that stretches their resources to the limit. Anything more than that, there's going to be swaths of the border that are unmanned. We're having 9,000 a day. So the cartels are rather clever. They make $4,000 per migrant that crosses the border. Doing the math, that's about $1 billion a month that they're making just in human smuggling, never mind the narcotics. So they'll flood a sector with people, and then the Border Patrol, they're processing them, they're transporting them, they're changing diapers, they're administering COVID tests, and then the cartels just sneak their drugs across. That's why we're seeing record numbers of narcotics hitting our streets. And
really quickly here, what is going to happen next with Title 42? Federal judge just blocked it temporarily. What's next?
Well, I hope that that's upheld, quite frankly. And this administration, unfortunately, has shown that they don't respect the rule of law. And with the migrant protection protocols, as you just mentioned, that's judicially been ordered to be put in place, and they're dragging their feet on that. So It'll be very interesting. There's been such a backlash. We might see Title 42 remain in place, and I hope that's the case.
All right, Congressman Pat Fallon, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Carly.